Hi, it's Matthew Graves from WebBiz Insider, Top Tier Traffic and Splash Page Surfer, with your 5 Minute to Success update for today. Today I wanted to speak to you about something that happened to me this weekend. Because this weekend I decided I was going to take my son, my wife and I, took my son to the Star Wars Phantom Menace 3D version at the theaters. It's always good to spend time with your family and to get a little bit away from the computer. But as usual, of course, I had to find a lesson in there somewhere. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, because when I was at the movie, a couple of things struck me. First, the thing happened when we were standing outside waiting because they were still cleaning the theater, and we were there a little early. And my wife said to my son, who's 13, and said to him, "So, this is a really good movie, is it?" And he said, "Well, not so much. It's actually the worst of the Star Wars movies." I know that's probably up to contention, and some people will probably post some comments saying that they disagree, but in his opinion it was. And she was kind of floored by that and said, "What do you mean? Well, why are we here if it's the worst of the movies?" And he said, "Well, because it's an experience. I want to see them all over again, and this is the first one." So the thing that really struck with me was how important it is to create a following, because that is something that, of course, the Star Wars franchise of movies really has done. They've created a following of people so that out of all of the movies, if they do one that isn't as good as the rest, people will still come and watch it because they're following it and they are focused and committed to the entire series, to the franchise, to the products, to the movies, etc. It is very important to create that following in your business as well. People who are interested in what you have to say, in what you're recommending, in the products that you're using, in the products that you're creating, and so that they will want to follow you. So that's something that you need to keep in mind for your marketing efforts and for building your business online. The second thing kind of struck me part of the way through the movie, because I was in there and I had the 3D glasses on and I was watching the movie and I was thinking, despite the addition of 3D, it's not that much different from watching it not in 3D. And that's when the whole idea of content popped into my head. Again, my son would say, "Dad, you're thinking about work again." But, what struck me was the fact that, years ago, George Lucas created this franchise of these movies, and he created these movies, and now they're all going to be re-released with a small change. You go out, they spent I'm sure it was a good amount of money to put them into 3D. However, compared to the cost of making a new movie, it was relatively low. And now they can send them back out to the theaters, have everybody go and pay the $10 or $12 a ticket to go and see them again, extra, because now it's in 3D. And they go and they're essentially reusing their content. They created this content, some of it multiple decades ago, and now they can reuse it and resell it and make money off it all over again, just like it was new. And that's where it ties into something which I always tell people, and I tell people, be an owner, not an affiliate. And sometimes people say to me, and they say, "Well, what do you mean be an owner? You mean own a traffic exchange or own a list builder?" And I'm saying, no, not necessarily. Each person has their own list of things that is the right thing for them to do. What I'm saying is own something about your business. If all you're doing is taking canned promotions and going out and regurgitating them out to lists, to traffic exchanges, etc., in hope of making a sale, then you don't really own anything. When you start to create things within your own business, and that's what you're running a business. This isn't a hobby. It isn't a little way to make money on the side. You need to view it as a business if you want to be successful. So when you create things in your own business, when you create content, when you shoot videos like this one, if you write an ebook, if you create a blog post, if you create a good splash page that's different from everything else that's out there, if you add people to your list, create a list of people that you have connections with in an autoresponder, you're building assets for your business, assets which can be reused, just like the Star Wars movies are being reused to generate more income for George Lucas's productions right now that also can be done with your content. So it's important to own something, own your content, and focus at least some of your effort each day on creating content or learning how to create content, learning how to do videos, learning how to create an ebook, writing content, learning how to write better, learning how to communicate better with people, because ultimately, when you create that content, it can be used and reused and packaged in different ways and sold and given away and used as an incentive to get people to sign up for your list. All of those things create this as an asset that you own, and you're not just simply helping someone else sell their assets. So be an owner, not an affiliate. And thanks a lot for following me.